Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for some more Guild Wars 2 gameplay. Today we're going to look at some stuff that was taken earlier in the Beta Weekend event. At this point I'm only level 19, so you're going to see things from a little bit different perspective, and that's okay, right? Because there's a long way between here and max level, even with the content that we've seen so far in the Beta event. So we're going to go see exactly what kind of trouble and mischief we can get into today. Yes, I did just shoot an eagle. That's it. I'm in trouble. There's sometimes, in a lot of games, when you're just running by, picking things up, you want to, you want to just shoot everything or just, attack everything that's in the area. And in Guild Wars 2, you certainly can do that. Obviously, you see we're just attacking MOAs and, critters that happen to be in the area. And, you can certainly do that. There's going to be lots of stuff in the world that, you don't have to attack if you don't want to. And that's okay. We like that. Let's see if we can go find ourselves a dynamic event. It looks like we got something going on up here. Oh yeah, definitely something going on in this area. Centaur attack, of course. So this particular dynamic event looks like we've got to hold the Heartwood Pass camp by defeating 7 waves of centaurs. Oh, we've got a cannon here. We can man the cannon. Nice. There's quite a few people in this area too, so we should be able to conquer this pretty well, pretty easily. You see the Guardian, one of the Guardian's spirit weapons go charging by, and look, because we've got all these additional people in the area, look at that pack of centaurs. Oh my! Are you kidding me? That's a lot of centaurs, and as you can see, I just charge right in there. No regard for my safety or helping my party complete the event. Nope, I'm just gonna go for it. Yeah, but that's one thing that I guess we haven't talked about yet in this series of videos, is that in Guild Wars 2, dynamic events will actually scale according to the number of players that are in the area, and that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. There's nothing worse than coming upon an area, having 50 people in the area trying to take on an event, and having the event be exceedingly simple because everybody can just, focus things down and they die in like 3 seconds. There have been some complaints that the scaling isn't quite right yet, that events are still being zerged to death, and that I think is going to happen with very large very large groups. As you can see, we probably got 15, 20 people in this area. And ArenaNet is still working on it. They're still trying to get things into the right place where they need to be, and they appreciate that kind of feedback. And I think in the final finished product, you will still see Zergs being able to go do their thing, but I think it's not going to be as Zergy as it is in some of these beta events. I think you'll see mobs going down in a lot less time. Take a lot longer to go down, not less. We don't want less. It'll take it, 5 to 10 seconds, 15 to 20, something like that. It's not going to be these, oh look, it's dead. Oh look, new mob and it's dead. Oh, and here comes another one and it's dead. We're not going to see that at all. I will say, too, though, that during dynamic events, if you do not have a significant number of players in the area, it's actually worth it to stop and resurrect the NPCs, because they will actually be very, very helpful. While these dynamic events do scale and level with the player, they're not designed to be soloed by the NPCs. So, they will definitely help you. You definitely want to work on getting them back on their feet, if it's at all possible. Hey, and look at that, we completed the event. Just gonna beat up some more centaur supplies here. No reason, really. Look at all that mail. When you do complete a dynamic event or a heart, you'll get mail with your reward there. always something you want to keep aware of, because mail actually is delivered instantly. You don't have to worry about going to a mailbox, taking time out of your day to go back to the mail. There have been some that have said, "Oh, but I'm going to miss the naked night elves dancing on the mailboxes." Well, sorry. No night elves in this game. Alright, let's see what we got on the gem store here. At this point in the beta, I was working on trying to power level myself up to level 30 so I could run the Ascalon Catacombs dungeon. So, I'm going to go ahead and purchase an item. An XP boost item. Go ahead and get that popped up. Boy, I tell you, the one thing to... Hey, look, we succeeded in an event we weren't even near. One thing about playing a warrior is you definitely are going to want to have a lot of weapons on hand, just because there are a lot of very cool abilities with varying weapons. The warrior has the most possible weapons out of all the professions. They can use a possible 21 different combinations when you consider things that they can have. A sword and an axe offhand, and a sword and a mace offhand, and then a sword and a shield offhand, and then a sword and a warhorn offhand. I mean, that's 5 different ways. Oh, a sword and a sword in your offhand. So there's 6 combinations just with one single weapon. So the warrior definitely has a lot of things that he's going to have his hands on, or she's going to have their hands on. So your inventory space might suffer as a result. For me personally, I like having all of those options available. I like being able to say, well, I've played with the rifle for a while. Let's play with let's go with the hammer instead. Or let's okay, I've done hammer and longbow for a while. Let me go, mace, warhorn. I found myself a lot in the beta doing that, where I would just. I've played with this weapon for an hour and 2 hours. I'm going to go ahead and switch it, just because I can. So as a warrior, if you're gonna play in that kind of play style like I do, you're definitely going to want the biggest bags you can afford, because you're going to spend a lot of time taking up inventory space with all of your available weapons. Alright, let's see what we got going over here in the swamp. Looks like some ghosts and a firefly. We'll go ahead and take out that firefly. And then we got these big, massive portal things. I'll take a look and see what's going on with those. We're going to fight off this shade here. Looks like it came out. Oh, it's a portal to the underworld. Okay, so it looks like these portals are in place, and out of the portals are coming shades and all kinds of other stuff. Alright, we can take care of that. It's a portal to the underworld, so we clearly don't want it around. And, oh, okay. So we close the portal, and something nasty pops out of it. In this case, it's a veteran Adax. Yeah, those are fun. The Adaxes were a creature in the underworld in the original Guild Wars. You did see them from time to time popping up and about. And it looks like, of course, they're going to make a return here in Guild Wars 2. That's good. I like to see those kind of things. Some scholars there. Alright, let's go find another one of these portals. I mean, at the moment, we're just kind of tooling around, taking stuff out. I do want to say, too, you may see those little heart icons pop up from time to time in your adventures in Guild Wars. And the reason you're going to see that is because those are the cross-profession combos. And it lets you know what exactly it's doing. You saw it, say there, like remove condition, burning, and that lets you know that when you're, interacting with other effects in the world, that you're actually doing those cross-profession combos. Oh, hey, look at that. We talk to this NPC, and we get a shade to pop up. Nice and simple. And, of course, the NPC waves, and we go about our business. There is a heart over in this region that I've already completed. And this area, too, also plays... Oh, you can see the vulnerabilities showing up there. Sorry. Anyway, this area also is part of the zone's meta event. And meta events are the overall large storyline events of a zone. And these meta events, you know, you'll see them most of the time pretty persistent in your upper right-hand corner there. Like in this case, the big meta event for this one is the Secret in the Swamp. And at the end of this, when the event is actually going on, you get to fight the Shadow Behemoth. But at the moment, the swamp lies dormant, so there's not a whole lot going on on here. We're just gonna visit the vendor. And, you know, not everything in Guild Wars 2 has to be dynamic events and going from one thing to the next. Sometimes it's fun to just go out in the world and just see what's going on. Like, that's a cool tent. We're just going to go kill some more fireflies. Why not? In this case, we pulled 2 of them. They're chained. All right. Alright, let's see what else we can go do here. Just waiting on my mate here to finish up with the vendor. Checking out his buffs and... or his boons and conditions right there. Ooh, look at that. Now, in this recent beta event, they actually went back and reworked the trait system to where now the traits are tier-based. And what happens by that is that you'll see here in a moment when you increase to the 10th point in a tier, you unlock the ability for traits. Now, it used to be that you would have like 24 or something traits all available to you all at once. That gave a lot of flexibility to us as the players, but that also created kind of a balancing problem for ArenaNet. Now, coming from the original Guild Wars game, yeah, balancing issues was definitely a problem. That was unfortunately one thing that I think ArenaNet really did not account for when they were creating the game. And that was just because, you know, in the original Guild Wars, you selected your main profession, and then you could have a secondary profession. So literally, you could have a character that was your main profession and then everything else in the game, and that created the possibility for a lot of different combinations. Not only that, but you know, they had to account for all of those varying combinations. I mean, they had far too many to accurately balance in any kind of meaningful and significant way. That being said, in Guild Wars 2, they originally had set up, you know, I mean, obviously they got rid of the dual profession mechanic. Thank you. I never cared for that personally myself. So they got rid of that dual profession mechanic, and then they also did in this patch, and I think it's pretty much going to be the final design, these trait trees. So instead of getting all 24 traits available to you at one time, you instead get, let's say, 10 traits when you hit the first 10 points in a talent tree. Excellent. So that gives you some more you know, so that gives you a much fewer things to have to worry about as far as balancing goes, because you know that if someone's put 10 points in a tree, they only have access to these 10 traits. They're not going to have, you know, 24, which gives a really crazy multiplicative numerical effect when you do that. So that's good. I do, you know, I understand why ArenaNet did what they did, and it does encourage people to, if they really want a particular trait, to go further up in the tree. If it's, you know, if it's a 30-point trait, you know, they have to go all the way to 30 points in order to get it. And so I appreciate that. I think it was a smart decision. Yes, it does limit players and their choices, but in this case, I think because you'll be balanced more in the long run, it makes it worth it. Alright, just going to go take down this veteran Adax as I almost die. I do that a lot in Guild Wars 2. And as you can see here, I'm using the Great Sword. It's a really fun weapon in Guild Wars 2. I very much like the Goreki sword. It's got a ton of mobility. It's a fabulous weapon. You've got a rush. You've got which takes it's a gap closing spell. You've got a cripple on there. You've got that whirling strike, which sends you spinning off in that direction. The only skill that seems a little odd is 100 Blades. And the only reason I say that is because when you use 100 Blades, it locks you into place and makes you swing your sword about like a maniac. That's good. I think the reason that ArenaNet did lock you into place is because if you were able to follow players around while doing that, that might be a little overpowered. Yeah, that could be bad. So instead, they lock you into place, and you then, if you want to make sure you're doing the full damage against, NPCs, or if you're fighting structured PvP or World v World, you want to make sure, to use something like a knockdown, like Bull's Charge, like I'm doing there, or you'll want to use like Throw Bolos as a warrior to make sure that they're penned into place. Another skill you could use if you had the longbow in your second set, you could, use the longbow's pen down skill, which isn't immobilize. Go pen down, and then switch over real quick to your greatsword. Pop rush to get in close to your enemy if you're at a distance, and then pop 100 Blades in order to, just take care of business there. That is one thing that I definitely want to do myself as well, is I want to get into the habit of using my offhanded weapons more frequently to apply things like varying boons and conditions. Right now, the habit I've unfortunately seen myself getting into is using a weapon singly without focusing or without taking into consideration the fact that I can swap over to something, go back. Get the effects and benefits from, let's say, a cripple or a bleed on one weapon, and then swap over and take care of, apply something else on a main hand or an offhand weapon. So, that's something definitely to consider when you get into Guild Wars 2, is that you have the ability to swap weapons in combat. It does invoke a cooldown when you do so, but at the same time, the benefits kind of outweigh the cost of that cooldown. If you're able to apply a condition like vulnerability or weakness, and then swap over to, let's say in the case of the warrior, swap over to an axe and use Eviscerate for a really powerful hit, it would be boosted that much more because of that vulnerability condition on the target. And my friend just dinged there, so we're moving right along. But definitely consider that. Consider both your main hand and offhand weapons when you're playing Guild Wars 2. And just going to clear out some inventory space here. The send to bank feature has got to be the best feature ever created in a video game for inventory management. In case you didn't know, if you right-click on an item that's a collectible item, you can click the deposit collectible, and it'll immediately send that item to your bank, and you can go recover it at a later period of time. So that's a beautiful thing. All right, we're going to try and heading to the south here. See if we can't hit up the next zone, the Kessex Hills. And you've seen quite a bit already of the Kessex Hills if you've done my or if you've watched my other videos. The Kessex Hills was where I spent a good deal of time because I was leveling to 30, and the Kessex Hills was a 15 to 25 range, so I spent a lot of time in there. It's a very well-designed, very nice zone to play in. I really do appreciate the work that ArenaNet has done for that, and It's a good zone. I enjoyed it. Now, it's definitely a challenge, because there are times in which you're kind of wondering, okay, well, this stuff is like 22, 24, and I'm 19, 20-ish range. Okay, now, okay, what exactly do we do? You may have noticed that I told my friend we're going to go south, and then we proceeded to run north. It's, you know, again, that crafting, gatherer mentality kicks in. Gotta go chop down all the trees. Just gotta do it. I can't help it, man. And, of course, we're going to hit up the merchant here, because I ran out of salvage kits. Gotta have the salvage kits. Super important item. Oh, and I also ran out of pickaxes. Let's go and pick one of those up. I have a very particular way I like my inventory. It just helps me keep things organized. My salvage kit's always in the upper left-hand corner. Weapons, armor, things like that are in the bottom of my interface. Alright, let's go ahead and hit up this area, see what we can do. And just for fun, we're going to try putting on a sword and a warhorn. The warhorn has some nice utility to it. You can get a swiftness boon out of it, which you can grant to everybody in the area. And it also, if I remember correctly, it grants or it causes weakness on anyone in earshot, any enemies in earshot. Oh, here we go. We got to repel the centaur attack and hold the earthworks, and we have 10 more waves to go. Okay. Well, let's. Oh, here we go. Oh no! There's a new build of the game available. So we got 3 minutes. We can do it. We can do this. We got 8 waves to go before the servers go down. We can do this. No problem. Oh, and I'm down. Oh, but I rallied. I'm down. I'm up. I'm down. I'm up. That was such a great feature in the original Guild Wars. The fact that they would just tell you, hey, there's a new patch available. And then they would, you know, you could restart at your leisure. There have been some builds during the beta weekend events in which that was the case, where you didn't have to log out, or you didn't have to, it didn't force you to reset, I should say, excuse me. But in this particular case, it is going to forcefully restart the application. And, you know, that we'll have to see if that continues into release or not. I know in the original Guild Wars, like I said, it was a beautiful system. Ah, yes, rally. Alright, we're halfway there. 6 to go. Can we do it in 2 minutes? We shall see.
Watch the perimeter. Don't let them inside the defenses.
Come on, healing. Get off cooldown. Now come on, be smart and use it. There we go. Alright, still 6 more to go. We've got a minute 45, minute 30 left to do it. Can we do it? Come on. Need more centaurs. Where are they? Now, if we'd been smart, we'd, you know, gone into the camp where they actually were. But, you know, I'm trying to help my friend there explain what's going on. And we actually did not make it because the servers went down. Well, that's all, ladies and gentlemen, for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, a like or a subscribe is greatly appreciated. And we will continue to bring you more Guild Wars 2 gameplay. And keep your eyes out on the horizon for some other projects in the work as well. And we'll see you next time.